Hello, dear viewer, and welcome back to Sword of Convallaria with me, Jalanon, and Lunar Nebula Gaming. Today, let's kind of showcase what it's like to be at the maximum level of 60 at the moment. So far, you pretty much try to log in like twice a day, maybe, if you're using your energy pretty efficiently. You kind of want to log in at the very beginning, so then you can get everything done, you can claim all your gifts, etc., etc. Sometimes people ask you if you want to be friends, and then you try to send them a gift. There we go. That is for guild points and things. The guild, you don't have to interact too much with the guild, but it is, I think, for a bunch of introverts, kind of like the best way to do a guild is, you know, everybody, if they participate, everybody gets rewarded, right? So that's one thing to do. There are things called Voyager's Conundrums that occasionally pop up where you log in, you get certain numbers, and people pool the numbers together, and then you can turn those in for luck sites for summoning people. You pretty much never want to use the luck sites on anything except for summoning, as far as I can tell, after all this time. Let's see, we will also go into here. As you can see, here we get an extra 60 energy. We also get 60 energy, I think, at 10 a.m., something like that. I'm trying to remember, but you get it about twice a day. So sometimes you can do that as well. At the bottom, we have our activity points. You get various rewards for those activity points. It's going to be pretty fast to level up your account in terms of this account level until around late 40s, early 50s, and then it's going to be a grind. And at that point, you might want to start using more of the potions and things. And most of these inventory items are time limited, so you might as well use them when you get them, such as this one goes away in about 8 days. Oh, that's not too bad. Not too bad. But yeah. So with the octopus items, you can do sweeps, and that can be pretty beneficial to anything you have 3-starred, because then you're not using up characters to do the sweep. So for example, we go to Crossing Worlds. This is kind of all the online gacha stuff, resources for it. Often, at this point in the game, you're going to want to collect Star Trial talent star points. And yeah, it gets kinda to be a lot. So let's see, let's go into Star Trial 2. As you can see, I've 3-starred everything here, so I can sweep. Now, the nice thing is the game does let you decide not to use the quick sweep with the takoyaki or the octopus jars, so then we can use 4 of these other characters. Another nice thing is it does seem to prioritize using lower ranked characters first. So with that in mind, yeah, the lowest ranking yet available characters are chosen. Yay! So we can do a couple of those. Okay. Radiant Forging, very important as gear becomes very expensive to level up later on in the game. So far, I really haven't had to worry about grinding for a bunch of level up training rewards. Usually just going with the game, you'll get enough rewards from like the Voyage Mementos and things like that. The weaponry trials, I still haven't finished the final level of the weaponry trials. So there's a level 70 now, and as you can see, we have account level 60. And one thing I'm thinking is that my talent tree isn't maxed out enough. But, you know, there are people who do have pretty decent strategy guides already out on how to beat these, even with lower level characters than I have. And I imagine they beat their heads against the wall to get the perfect RNG for that. And frankly, I don't have the time for that. So I have not worried about it. Memory retrieval, very important. You want to try to get to this pretty much as soon as you can. But don't sweat it too much because it will take a long time to go from level 50 to level 60. And the difference is 1 of the character memory shards. One thing the game doesn't do a good job of telling you is that if you don't use multiple characters, each character can get a max of 3 shards, right? So you do want to be using multiple characters even at stage 1. So 2 characters, it'll probably try to split it into 2 shards each. But where I'm at now, you don't want to use more than 3 characters. You'll get 3 shards for 3 characters. And when that happens, thank you, Dentalian, we will go into characters. We will see this orange star. And we will go here. Yoink. Then we will star level up. There we go. Now for a Akambe, I had to pity summon, basically. I had to reach 180 summons, and for a while I was even clicking one summon at a time to try to save luck sites because Sophia was coming out, but I lucked out with Sophia. As you can see, the star effects do get pretty insane. So when Akambe reaches 5 stars, he can have a maximum energy of 9, which most characters have a max energy of 5. However, yeah, Akambe is pretty special. So I like the summoning idea behind Akambe. I've got Skeleton Staff. They're pretty good guides, especially on like Reddit. There's one guy that keeps posting very nice guides on gear for everybody. I have not used a bunch of my coins, but what I should be dumping coins into is trying to re-gear engrave my stuff. So, for instance, I have Sword on Akambe here. Yeah, it's 30,000 coins a pop to try and gamble for better stats. So, yeah, I just don't care that much. The resonance is really the big deal initially, and then we can try to go for stats. But recommend just figuring out the resonance you want. Usually, like, was it Sword and Wand? Sword and Wand is really good because every time you move a tile, up to 3 tiles, then you can get up to a 12% attack and defense buff, which is pretty good. So yes, and as you can see, we've got reorganized cubes and things. It's already at its advanced level. Let's see, you at 50. Yeah, this is one other thing. One of the rewards you can get is this Primordial Powder. This is kind of what you want to use Primordial Powder for, is replacing missing ingredients, right, or resources. So 1750 for 14 Legendary Radiant Ore. I'm not sure what the exact conversion is, but that's pretty much all I use this Primordial Powder for, is to finish up weapons. And at the moment, I'm getting close enough I kind of don't worry about it. And I'm not planning to use this Resentment Broom anytime soon on anything crazy, so I'm not going to worry about it on the Resentment Broom. We will see. I might take another look at that later. But for now, yeah, I'm kind of at a point where finding the right equipment for different challenges, like those level 70 challenges, is just as important as just having good gear leveled up, right? So you need the right gear leveled up at this point. So I'm being pretty conservative with how I'm spending stuff. But on the talent tree, highly recommend you go for Ragnarok on the talent tree because it's very good and it will help you get through the Tower of Conquest if you can just kind of live long enough, right? So Tower of Conquest, if you lose 2 characters in the tower, then you will rage because you lose that level. However, yeah, just keep them alive long enough, Ragnarok, and boom, you're kind of golden for a lot of those in-between levels. It's the boss levels that are really insane. The 5th levels, generally, where they have one character that's just super buffed, and pretty much you can't do a lot of the status effects to it. So you kind of have to chip them from afar and pray that works. Other good paths. For Defender's Path, I really haven't done too much offensively, focusing more on the defenses, and that seems to be okay. Honestly though, the movement powers seem to be the best tactical powers to me, which would be Maneuver Command, let's see, this guy, March Command, and then Divine Archer was fun, but honestly the stats do not keep up well enough. Where are you? Crazy, awesome, teleport. Are you in here with the Watchers? No? No. The Flag of Convallaria people have had in strategy guides, so I have tried to level that up. And eventually you'll get enough talent stuff that, like, you'll just end up working your way back through these, right? So, for instance, Magic Attack Enhancement, I will probably get these wonderful reds with the gold background in the process of trying to get the highest level of stars at some point. So I'm not too worried about it. And we will see. Every day, you come in, you get 500 bond energy, which equates to about 50,000 of this relationship bonus. Once you get to level 5, everybody gets plus 5% to all their attributes, which is pretty insane. But as you can see, I have been using this Spirit of Hearts every day. And yeah, I would say also as a kind of general rule of thumb, you probably don't want to use more than 3 bond charms on one character, just because if you're patient, the Spirit of Hearts will help. You can basically equip people at home to also get more stuff. So if I go over to here, to home decoration, then we go to the helmet, then you can see people here. Akambe does want to talk. I guess that's what occupied means. So we'll talk. What's up, Akambe? Yesterday, I saw a mysterious cat trade a single strand of fur with coal for fish snacks. Totally unfair deal, yet both seemed happy. Is this what they call emotional value? So if you don't know, Akambe's a merchant. A very complicated character. Pretty interesting. But as you can also see there, later on in this game, the translations do not keep the same quality. So makes sense they spent more time making the beginning of the game seem higher quality, or maybe people got tired. There's a lot of content. That said though, you never really need to get the Destiny keys. I've pretty much always been able to use the limited time ones they give each week in order to go into Spiral of Destinies and still get the rewards for going through different events that they have with Spiral of Destinies. So, for example, right here, I am not quite finished here. I should probably get started on doing more with this, but yes. So far, I've got 12 days to go. It's probably plenty of time. I'm not too worried about it. This is the Voyager's Conundrum, where you do stuff each day and try to chat with your guild members with little emojis and stuff, and then you'll get Luxites for that. They have all these other things going on, which honestly, I think for new players, since they have been trying to, I feel, move forward the world server a little faster than the original server in China, that it does feel too fast-paced when you first start, unless you have a lot of free time or can make free time. I dumped a lot of my free time basically purely into this game. I have enjoyed it. But it does feel more and more like, at this point, that you just kind of hit a wall of stats of, like, for example, in the level 70 gear weaponry trial, I think it's weaponry trial 3. This guy basically just does a map-wide nuke that destroys my team currently. And there are different ways to try to debuff the boss and to buff your units and stuff. Like I have Magnus, who's pretty decent as a character, and he has an ability, Cry of Victory, which when you use, let's see, where are you? Mountain Breaker, he can use Cry of Victory to debuff the attack to on all enemies within 5 tiles, which is pretty good. Like, I feel like I'm decently geared, but it's still a challenge. So, that's something to potentially look forward to and or just rail against the machine. But yeah, at any rate, what else was I going to show? Ah, yes, the Voyage Memento. So this is one of the ways they try to give people enough stuff to just get into the game and reward you, which is pretty good. The money I've spent on this game has been $10 with one of the weapon passes. They usually do kind of like a seasonal weapon pass. So I did that when I first started the game, and I do think that helped. Did it help enough? I don't know, but I have enjoyed the game enough that I wanted to support the developers and all that. Let's go into the summoning, because yes, some characters get their own summon banner. It's still pretty low chances. It's like, what, 2% overall probability for a legendary, and half the time you will get the banner character. Other times you will get Edda out of nowhere, and you'll be like, okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's not who I was looking for. So yes, I kind of do like just a couple summons on every banner, and then for banners like Augusta here, I'm going to dump a ton of Luxite into this. So like, I probably shouldn't have summoned it all on Nurgle and Nungle, but I did. Because if I had lucked out, that would have been nice to have, since I have Sophia and other hanged men that are pretty good. Also note, we can do a character trial here with Augusta. Boink. And we can get 150 Luxite, which is 1 summon. Which is not bad, not bad. I want to do a 10 summon here. I think it took me like 20 to get Sophia, which was pretty good. Because once again, with Akambe, I had to do 180 to get Akambe. Okay, so this means we should get an epic character. Or rare, okay. Okay. We will see. Aha! Night Raven. Okay, Outlaw X-Men. And each time you summon somebody, if you have them already summoned, you get 50 shards. Those shards can be converted into currency once you have them fully maxed out. And it doesn't look like rarity impacts that shard, like, amount. So it's always 50. But pretty good to get copies of characters you've already got if they aren't already at 5 stars. Okay, we'll try again. Yoink. Okay, once again, if I was trying to really watch my luck site, I'd probably just be doing one summon at a time. Okay, when it turns purple, that's usually when you've got one of the highest end characters. Some things that are pretty interesting about this game, like Abyss, great character. She's been pretty useful throughout, and yet she will not have as many abilities as one of these highest tier characters. So as you rank up characters, they simply will not have as many abilities. Rank ups will also give stats and things, so you can still rank up characters, but you generally want to save your rank up materials for the highest tier characters. But Lightning and Abyss are pretty decent. I'm going to do another. Let's try to find Augusta. Still pretty good, though. I'm still getting a lot of these epics. Okay. And of course, I can just click skip. We got Agile Eye. Okay, I don't think I'm done with you yet. It's also nice you can see kind of their general power level and everything. Okay. Alright, so I will probably continue doing that off screen. Well, I don't know. People generally like some of the videos, so you know what? One more. One more, right? That's how they get you. Oh, here we go. Well, for the video, is it even Augusta? That's going to be the hilarious part, because it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip, but it's more likely it's the banner character than any of the others. Oh, okay, Lash. She's pretty good too. Flame Sorceress, also fun. That's one thing I've really enjoyed about the game design of this, is that most of the characters can still be useful. Momo. One of the best PvP characters. In terms of, like, you can pull and push. Okay. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. But yeah, they do have long voice lines. They have very good voice actors in this game. Alright. Do we get a second one? Nope, we got Momo, though. I'm not disappointed by that. However, I do want Augusta. Now, if I go check the details, yes, the guarantee rate is still going. So, like, within 131 more summons, I can guarantee I get this guy, which is why people try to save up for specific characters and specific banners in case their luck is absolutely terrible. Like I did with Akambe. I just decided, you know what, I like Akambe, and I want him. So, I did in fact end up reaching that pity amount, which is why I don't have nearly as much for this one. Oh well. But yeah, here's the weapons banner. Pretty much, I've never used this summoning mechanic for the weapons, and it's never really mattered. So, you might want to find specific weapons, but as far as I'm aware, yeah, like Newborn Blade, Void Stab, I've been able to get just fine just by farming. And once you have a character, you can farm their shards, so you don't have to, like, keep summoning until you reach 5 stars with them. It's, I think, 300 shards to reach a full 5-star character, which means you need to summon them 6 times total, I think. Well, dear. Okay. Well, okay. The best sword, huh? Okay. Something about soul of the sword, best sword, etc., etc. Well, I didn't expect to actually get him after using all my hope luck sites. But yeah, we got Augusta, so yay! Oh my goodness. Well, dear viewer, I'll be adding that in. Alright, dear viewer, so what does it look like to take a character from level 1 and try to make them good? Frankly, it's not too difficult. We've got Momo and we've got Augusta. Do I have Okay, so you're using axes instead of swords. Interesting. I do have Denial Hammer. I can make that better. We can swap weapons really easily in this game, which is nice. You know, I'm not entirely certain what the best weapons for you are. So that is something to keep in mind. If you ever do feel like you are uncertain, you can also just wait on which skills you select. I highly recommend looking up people's skill sheets and things like Timaeus SS, Orange, Per Platypus. Spoiler alert, you know, some of them do cuss, so keep that in mind. As you can see, we get some pretty decent stats from leveling up. Okay, and this is where the ranking system comes in. So we have plenty of these lowest ranks. Alright, I'm not sure which one to take, so I'm just going to click in the middle of the screen, or the far right, etc., etc. Alright. So we'll get up to here. Same thing. Oh no. But this way, if I accidentally select a character and send them in, it's not the end of the world. They can have some strength. And I can choose later. So you don't have to choose immediately, which is really nice of the developers that you're not stuck in that. So, okay. In the future, I will probably rotate August in instead of Akambe in the memory retrieval until I get Coco to level 5, or rank 5, I should say, of this trait. And then I'll probably switch Akambe back in, etc., etc. We can use a bond charm here to get his bond, I think, to rank 2, just immediately. Here you go. Yeah. And that's 2% firepower, which is really good. Just really good. So, with that in mind, we do that. Get a new avatar I'm probably not going to use. Okay. And I think the developers have made it so that you can get more hope luxites and things from some of these characters once you reach certain bond levels, and you can get more of their stories as well, like Magnus. Okay, never mind. I go here. Yoink. Into the Voyage is still locked, huh? I need to finish chapter 11. Fair. So, once I do that, I can probably get like 20 hope luxites out of this, which, you know, it's not much, but it's something for a character that I already am interested in, because he seems like he might have gone a little crazy. And maybe it would be good to see why. Alright. Without further ado, let's also look further down the tree. As you can see, rank 11 is when you generally get your biggest skill, but that's not always the case. Like, Edda gets her best skills, I think, up to rank 3? So, yeah, it just depends on each character's kit, really. So, this is the final rank that it matters. But with characters that aren't, you know, legendary, they're not going to get that far. So, let's see. Let's go to the Darklight Ice Priest as an example. Yeah, rank 7 is the last you get a good skill to choose from. So that is one of the downsides of the lower rarity characters, but usually, such as, let me see, where are you, Outlaw Assassin? Or Recruited Assassin, I'm sorry. It has this incredible skill, Fancy Footwork. It is incredible. You can dodge tank so many things with Fancy Footwork because it's 2 energy and you can use it every turn. So as long as you can feed this guy more stuff, you are laughing at people trying to hit you with anything that is not AoE. And even AoE damage, you just take less. So it's very good. And you can just send him up to tank some of these characters that, you know, are supposed to tank, like Coco. And yeah, sometimes they can't handle it. And you need a dodgy boy. And nobody else I've found so far has been quite as dodgy as that guy. Even Sophia. Like, her shadowless blade is very good for 1 turn, but then you have a 3-turn cooldown. So either I'm missing gear to make her do that better, or, you know, that's just as good as she's going to be at dodging, and then I need to get her out of dodge range of people trying to attack her. So, yeah, that is something to keep in mind. Overall, I think this has been a decent primer on Sword of Convallaria. Alright, dear viewer, I figured I'd go a little bit more into this whole ranking system thing. I realized I didn't say anything about the Castalia. Castalia is probably the least given resource by the developers. As you can see, I've been hoarding quite a few of these, and they are pretty good. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of waiting and such to get more. So, for things that you don't really care about as much, like Wrath versus Overthrow, I'm probably not gonna even place these on August. I have to think about, do I prefer HP or defense? Or is there a use case where maybe Knightly Spirit would be better than Crumbling Smash, or Crumbling Smash would be better against a boss that has shield? With that in mind, I think I will take Crumbling Smash because it increases attack by 30% when attacking enemies with a shield, whereas Knightly Spirit in general is good, but it's not going to help me get that contempt bonus like some of these other skills. So yeah, or rage, I should say. So I think I'll take the HP bonus for now. And with this in mind, it's also important to note, Castalia seems to be best to just save up for your legendary characters. I don't think I'd use it on anything less than a legendary character, unless you really love that character and want them to have a 3% bonus to a stat, which, you know, good for you if you want that. Good for you. It is a free world. And I believe you can buy more Castalia, but yeah, that is probably the hardest resource to get more of. But yeah, oh, we can, in fact, upgrade you. So yeah, Lash. We'll get her to this 4th star, so then she gets the same amount of magic attack damage, but the piercing attack does more and her healing is better. Okay, it's just the healing is better. Which, you know what? Fine. Yeah, there we go. I use her mostly for the piercing damage, and debuff the Disaster Bottle is a great gear. I do Dark Withering. I do have Soul Soothing because it's a non-energy cost heal with no cooldown, so you can always heal with her. And then Whip of Blame has been fantastic. The problem is, if you don't have 3 energy, yeah, you kind of want either characters that will be a battery for her energy, or you can use a Terra Whisper that gives energy when you do nothing. And that generally helps her be more relevant. Let's see, it's Guidance of the World. Yep, okay. But yeah, Terra Whispers, you will in fact have to go into your inventory at some point and go in here, click this, click Breakdown, and you'll want to select all your commons, rares, and eventually epics, and get rid of them. Apparently I have 16 epics I could get rid of, and I probably will. You will want to favorite your best Terra Whispers, so then if you ever click Legendary, you won't accidentally, destroy all the ones that you like. Yeah, like this one apparently I haven't locked. Tisk tisk. Let's lock that. Okay. Here's a few more tips on things like the Terra Whispers. Just note for the Terra Whispers, when you're looking at your Whispers, then look closely at these pips over here. So when we see these rainbow colors, that's basically saying it can reach the highest amounts of good stats, and on this final stat, revealed at level 50, there's a chance it has an even better ability. So, when we take a look at one of these level 61s I've got, you can see over here, it's got this, changes the effect of Terra Whisper skill into, for each one character, etc, etc, you gain 2 stats instead of just 1. So, this can only happen on these rainbow pips. For example, if we go to one of these other ones, it's not as good. So yellow, that's epic, it's just below the legendary, so you can get some decent stats on epics. However, for say, where are you? Where are you? Like this one, it could be a decent Terra Whisper, but it's never going to have that legendary Terra Whisper effect. So that is something to keep in mind. So most of the time, if there's not the legendary pip at the end, I'd say just get rid of it. Also, once again, these epic Terra Whispers do not have that final pip available, and simply will be outscaled by these legendary ones. Without further ado, I was working on one of these for August. Let's try and get this to level 50. See if it's worth it. As you can see, all of the costs of everything increase quite a bit. Magic attack. Okay. Alright, it's a good set of stats, it's just not what I'm looking for. So, we're going to leave this one on August. I was using it on Sophia or Dantalion. So I might need to farm Devil Whispers a little bit more. Oh well. That is the name of the game, farming. So we did switch to the Feast Axe on August. And then gear, I haven't had any issues yet, but you can also do the breakdown with them. You can hold up to 500 things in here, so yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I did switch in the Feast Axe to August from Rawia. They can switch with it back and forth. Just as an example of how expensive it gets to upgrade things, though, let's get you all the way to level 50. Look at how much of this radiant powder it takes. It takes 42,000 to get to level 50. Okay, once we get to level 50, of course, we require a lot of this legendary radiant ore. It will become far more difficult to farm this later on. We do have the primordial stuff. I'm debating using it. I will do it for the video. For the video. Alright, and as you can see, instead of 40,000, it's 4 times as expensive, pretty much. It's 169,100 radiant powder, which is, yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot, unfortunately. So, as you can see, it gets expensive. So I recommend leaving things around level 50 or 49-ish, etc., whatever you need, until you can get the stuff you really want to upgrade, like the Brutal Axe, the Feast Axe. This Hollow Axe was decent. The Denial Hammer is going to be pretty fun in niche cases. When you have charge skills, you can knock things back an extra tile, which means on, like, Coco, we can knock somebody back, I think, 4 tiles with her frying pan, which, yes, I think that would be fun. In the meantime, we go back to August. You can see we have 1 engraving on this Feast Axe already, which is a sword. We're going to go to the Flying Blade Arm Guard, and we are going to give it another engraving. And we want the wand, because sword and wand is pretty good for active attackers and just people who move around in general. So we're going to go for a wand. Now, as I understand it, you can see you have 1 to 3 random attributes potentially added on. The strength of these attributes added on will vary. You will get higher possible rolls and more likely higher results the more rare the engraving you use. So if we weren't, you know, certain about getting the best engraving on this, like this wasn't that good of an item, I would probably settle for just a rare engraving and do it a couple times, find some decent stats, right? But we go back here. We're going to use this a lot. And we're going to use the wand. Alright then. Max HP, magic defense, and physical attack. We're going to click use for now, because that will save this effect. Now, what's great about Sword of Convallaria's current engraving system is you can then roll, and if you like the roll, you can click great, use it. If you hate it, you can keep the old effect. So if you find an effect that's decent, I highly recommend that you use it. And then go back in and try to re-roll for something better in the future. So, like this one, magic attack, physical attack, max HP. This is better on August just because we're purely looking for physical attack pretty much, which will be great. I believe the highest roll is something like 12% on any stat. And usually the percentages are more important than the flat stats. So yeah, as you can see, it will take quite a lot of rolling to try and make this work to the best of its extent and ability. Now, one other reason to think about whether you put the sword engraving on a weapon or on this Flying Blade Arm Guard, you can kind of move sets of armor and equipment around, right? Sword of Convallaria doesn't prevent you from doing that, and you can do that any which way you want. And so, with that in mind, I think, number one, I'm going to get this level 50. I think I had wanted this to be fully maxed, but that's okay. Now I have no radiant ore, and I am sad at the legendary level. So, we'll have to wait on that. For now, though, as you can see, we now have the engraving that is active for the resonance. You'll see it underneath right there. And all of that jazz. So, that is a little bit of information on the Terra Whispers, the engraving system, and what rolling is going to be like. Honestly, I leveled up fast enough in the game that I didn't have to worry about using common and rare items too long. I just ended up getting the epic items, I got a couple of them pretty high level, and then I got far enough in the game that I could just use them. Another thing for enhancing your gear, we can go in here, but as you can see, I can't select it. Why not? Well, you have to unlock the legendary gear, which is very nice as a feature so that you don't accidentally eat something that you don't want to get rid of. However, now I have to remember where that true lens was. Where'd you go, true lens? There you are. Yoink. Then we click that little lock icon, top left at the moment, and go back into here, and we'll give Nona Will a little bit of a buff. Alright, the true lens gets some stats out of this, and then its main ability is now better. So we get 1% more physical attack, and our attack from Highland gives us 2% more critical, which is pretty good on Nona Will because one of her abilities, I think it's Arrow of Aeolus Gale Burst, she gives herself the Highland buff just by using it, no matter where she is, which is pretty fun. So yes, Sword of Convallaria. I have enjoyed it. I hope you do too, dear viewer. It is free to play, and once again, the dangers are kind of just spending a bunch of money on summoning and all that. Yeah, trying to think if there's anything else in the shop. They do have these packs and things. If you're trying to go mostly free to play, basically just don't spend Hope Luck Sites on anything except summoning characters, and you should be okay. They give you a decent amount, as evidenced by the fact that I pitied for Akambe and was still able to get quite a few good legendary characters. And other than that, we can go in here, convert our memory crystals. We get 1,500 out of these, since we had those characters already maxed. Once we reach 70,000, which is quite a ways away, we can get a designated legendary character, which is basically what you want to save these for. Everything else in here, I don't think you really care about. Memorial stuff. Oh, I can actually get something new. I do like this little wreath. However, the furniture should help me get the bond experience faster with people. So yeah, give me that. Give me this furniture. Phantom Golden Lion. Okay, so theoretically that helps me gain bond XP faster, which would be nice. And then, yeah, some of the other currencies like the Tower of Conquest, you generally want to spend on the high tier items. I have used it on the Epic Radiant Ore, sometimes the Radiant Bright Powder, especially now that I have plenty of these insignias. The Platinum Ranked medals I haven't had to worry about yet, because the game has been kind enough with Fool's Journey and everything else. But, yeah. For now, let's just go ahead and buy these. Radiant Powder. Star Particles I really haven't had to worry as much about, same with the Common EXP and the Tarot Essence. Though I have gotten the Tarot Essence a couple times. But you can also, I think, get it from the Reputation Shop. Yeah. So the Reputation Shop, this is what the guild currency gets you. Pretty similar stuff. Now, they added this top row with this new currency, which is Prestige Crowns. And I'm not even sure how I got 40 of them. So yeah, there's that. I just haven't used them because I haven't really needed to. I will probably use it for the Legendary Radiant Ore. Yeah, because the Legendary Engravings and everything, once again, it's gambling. It's just pure gambling that you try to get good stats on it. And then this is where you break down gear. You can get new Legendary Trinkets. I'd probably go for the Trinkets over the weapons, because it seems like there's maybe a larger variety of trinkets, but yeah, not sure. So overall, that is currently what I think. I think, used Hope Luck Sites on Bond Charms before I knew more about the game. You do get Bond Charms occasionally. I think it's like per month. Let's see, was it in the Memorial? No. Yeah, Reputation? Yeah, you can get Bond Charms with your guild reputation, so save up for those. You get like 1 a month-ish, or 1, it's probably more than that, right? Can't remember when they cycled this. It does cycle in a day, but yeah, for now, I have enjoyed Sword of Convallaria. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more gaming videos, dear viewer. And if you're enjoying Sword of Convallaria, let me know. And if you're not, why? because overall I've enjoyed my time with it, but I can definitely find reasons to be like, oh, now it's just trying to make me spend money to progress, right? So overall, it feels like they give you enough tools that if you really want to spend the time and effort on it, you can surpass really difficult challenges and find ways around. However, yeah, I still feel like personally, when using your defense characters like Coco, who is a specialized defender, and she can't tank hits enough to protect your other characters, even with, you know, spending most of your defender's path talents in defense, but yeah, maybe that's not the best balance. Anyway, I have still enjoyed plenty about the game. The Spiral of Destiny's roguelike mode is probably where you want to be if you get tired of the free-to-play mechanics, because there is a good story in here. Once again, the translation is a little spotty. There's more cursing than I had expected, and it does get a bit dark, but if you can handle like Octopath Traveler, you should be fine with Sword of Convallariaon. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, dear viewer, and have a great day.